right, guys, here we go. This is it. Before the fire. That's a ministry that I started, I don't know, in maybe 2007. This is it, 4321 Before the Fire, because I'd been called as a servant of the Lord. I was starting to lay hands on people that were recovering from incurable diseases. The Lord had given me a vision acuity that was beyond normal. And there's maybe 30,000 pictures that bear witness to that. One very easy example to understand is that the Vatican, from an aerial view, is a serpent wearing a crown. The Bible says in Revelation 9 that the pit's going to open, and when the pit opens up, locusts are going to come out of the pit. And when they come out of the pit, it says they will sting men. Men will seek death and will not find it. They'll desire to die, but death will flee from them. And at that point, the pit opening up has become a supernatural invasion from the pit, and it's going to be something like you see in a sci-fi movie. So anyway, I just want to make sure that's stated up front, because that's the Bible, that's what it says. But now I want to get into something very disturbing that must be addressed, because there's been some allegations made by Karen Sullivan, Jim Sullivan, Kathy Edge, which is Karen's sister, and Kathy's husband, Chuck Edge, he is a former sheriff and former law enforcement. And because I have documented several threats, and I'm sitting here with Dave the Wave, Zach, Corey, we're going to call Susie and Eric, we're going to put other people on the phone, and we're going to establish a record to make sure that there is a public record, and we have documented everything. Everything we're saying and everything that we're going to talk about, we have shown in some folders that we've kept. We've been harvesting the information. We have documented all these things so they will stand as a witness for it. Okay, so let's start with, very quickly, the Ark. A brief history has been posted in a letter form on CLEC Uncensored, and we've also put it in the CLEC files to stand as a witness again about the origin of what's called the Ark. I believe Jim Sullivan meant for it to stand for Angel Recovery
Refugee Center.
Angel Refugee Center. So it was the brainchild of Jim Sullivan and apparently his wife, because Jim's wife was dying of rectal cancer. I did not know the Sullivans. I had never met the Sullivans. I had no idea who they were, even though Karen and her sister Kathy Edge were following my ministry apparently for years. And I was alerted from a man named Jack Lamb. Jack had called me up and said, "Johnny, would you please pray for this girl? She's been following the ministry for a long time. She's got stage 4 rectal cancer." And I was, of course, I'll pray for her. But as soon as I heard that, I had a witness of the Spirit. And what that means is my whole body started buzzing and tingling. And the Bible says, "My sheep hear my voice." And I heard very quietly in my spirit, I heard the Lord say, "I want you to go meet her." I'd never even heard of her. I'd never met her. I had no idea who she was. But right then, and just out of nowhere, the Lord said, "I want you to go meet this person." And the first thing I remember asked Jack Lamb was, "Well, where does she live?" Because obviously it was going to involve me having to go there. And so he said Houston, to which I was very thrilled because I live in San Antonio. So anyway, long story short, I took a trip to Houston with Jack and Mary Lamb, and I met Jim Sullivan and his wife Karen, the one that had cancer. I met Kathy, which is Karen's sister, and her husband Chuck. I met Edith, which is Karen and Kathy's mom. At that meeting, I really didn't know what was going to happen. It was kind of a meet and greet, and I got there, and during that meeting, I went to the bathroom and I'd been praying, like, "Why am I here, Lord? Are you going to have me actually lay hands on this lady?" And I heard in my spirit, "If you go pray with Karen Sullivan, I will do what she asked for, if she prays to me through you." And I thought, well, that's weird. I've never heard it's never been like that when I lay hands on somebody. Usually the Lord just says, "Lay hands on this person." So anyway, I communicated that to Karen. We went out on the patio. And I said, well, I just heard in my spirit, this is what the Lord said. Whatever you ask for, you pray in his name with me, he will do for you. And so we prayed together, and what she asked for, she said, I would like to see my husband, Jim, get saved, and my son, Colton, and her nephew. And so that's what we prayed for. And my whole body was buzzing, and I thought, well, that's a very unselfish thing, because there she was at death's door. She literally looked like she could be dying very, very quickly, like within weeks. Anyway, so I left there, and then after I got back to San Antonio, I was in San Antonio, and I heard in my spirit very, very clearly as I was praying, I heard the Lord tell me, I want you to go back to Houston and show Jim Sullivan. Now, this is Karen's husband. Karen's the one that had cancer. I want you to go back to Houston and show Jim Sullivan the image of the Virgin. There's an image of the Virgin de Guadalupe, and when you draw on the watermarks, there is a boy that is being molested by a Catholic priest. And it was a very disturbing thing to see that some artist had hidden in an image of the Virgin a child being molested. And when I saw it, I was like, what in the hell is this? Like, what kind of a lunatic would hide artistically something like this in their artwork? And that's one of the very special gifts the Lord's given me. That's how I can show you that the Vatican is a snake wearing a crown. Anyway, so the Lord had communicated that to me, and I just thought, how weird that I have to call, Karen Sullivan and ask her if I could come to Houston and show that to her husband. Really weird. And so anyway, but she had asked for her husband to, meet the Lord, and so I heard the Lord say that, so I called up Karen Sullivan, and I said, hey, Karen, this is Jonathan, and this is what the Lord has asked me to do, to bring this image of the Virgin. I told her this is a very awkward thing for me because, there's a Catholic priest molesting, a child, like a young boy, and I don't know why he would ask me to do that, but that's what he's asked me to do. The phone got very quiet, and Karen said, have you talked to Jim? That was a very strange thing to say because I had only met her one time, and I had not talked to her except the time I was in Houston. This was my second phone call. And then obviously I said, no, I've only talked to you. And she said, then she offered up the information, and she said, oh my gosh, Jim just settled a lawsuit for being molested by an Episcopal priest, which is basically Catholic with divorce, and he just settled it a few days ago. So I was like, oh my gosh, what are the odds? And the reason for that was because when something like that is hidden in the watermarks of an image of the Virgin, it's an agenda that particular painting was concealing, but hidden in plain sight. So anyway, I went to Houston. I met Jim on that trip. I showed him the image of the kid being molested, and that he was probably targeted as a youngster. That's why he was molested, because here's their agenda. Why is it right here in the image of the Virgin? Why would they hide it? And he was molested, and he had just settled the lawsuit. So that was pretty supernatural, mind-boggling that the Lord conveyed. Go show him that image, and it just happened. Okay, so anyway, long story short, Jim apparently makes his confession to Christ one day, and I get the phone call. I'm like, well, that's awesome. That's what you prayed for. And so then I heard the Lord in my spirit. At some point, there were several trips to Houston after the initial laying of hands on Jim, or going and showing him that information. I'm sorry, I didn't lay hands on him. I showed him the info. Okay. Then I heard the Lord tell me, I want you to go back to Houston, but he didn't tell me what for. So I went back to Houston, and as I was driving, I said, Lord, well, I don't even know why I'm going. Am I going to lay hands on Karen Sullivan, or what are we doing? And as I said, do you want me to lay hands on Karen Sullivan? Right the moment the words came out of my mouth, I looked up, and there was a billboard, and the billboard said, put your money where your miracle is. Well, I have an image of that in one of the folders. And it was a Christus Santa Rosa billboard, and it was trying to get people to donate to that Christus Santa Rosa, so they would have money to help people that needed, miracles, that were sick financially. Anyway, so I went to Houston. And I arrived in Houston, and I saw Karen at her mother's house, and I took her out on the patio, and I said, Karen, I don't know for sure why I'm here. The Lord told me to come for sure, but I don't even know if I'm here to lay hands on you. And then I told her I saw this really weird billboard said, put your money where your miracle is. And then Karen offers to me that she used to be a pharmacist, and she said, I used to tell people that they were insane to take chemotherapy and radiation. She goes, and look at me, here I am, such a hypocrite, and I'm doing just that. And all of a sudden my body started buzzing, and I heard the Lord say, the billboard was for her. To put your money where your miracle is, put your money where your mouth is. You always tell everybody that you're a lunatic for doing this, but there she is doing the exact thing that she is hypocritically telling other people never to do, but there she is doing it, trying to save her life. And I told her, I said, well, no, the billboard's for you. Now I understand why I'm here. I hear the Lord very clearly saying, if you want your miracle, you must quit all your treatments right away, and he will step up and you will get well. But I'm going to lay hands on you. I'm going to pray over you with the caveat that you stop the treatment, and the Lord will know. So you have to take the step of faith, or there's nothing doing. So anyway, that's what happened. I laid hands on her. I prayed the prayer, and I left. It took her, I don't know, maybe a couple of weeks, and she had made the decision. She had talked to her son, and she had, told her, this is what I'm going to do. And she stepped out on faith, and all glory to God. Guess what? Guys, did y'all see Karen Sullivan working when your time you were at the Ark? Was she mowing lawns? Was she vigorous and out doing things?
Yes.
Very much so, right?
Yep.
Yes.
So you saw her, and she was obviously very well and doing very well.
Totally.
Was she mowing lawns?
Yes. She insisted on doing it too.
And she insisted on doing the work. Did you see her doing heavy work?
Yep. Moving bags of dirt.
I remember seeing her dragging a log out of the Ark.
Yep.
I saw her dragging a log like a tree, and I was like, dang, man, she's doing really well.
Mm-hmm.
So that's an accurate statement now that
Yes.
I made?
Yes.
Okay, so anyway, now y'all have the beginning, the inception of where this all began. So then Jim, her husband, because of his gratitude that his wife had gotten over stage 4 rectal cancer. You can see pictures of her at that time, and then subsequently she just got better and better and better and better and better. But Jim was so excited. He said, I confess God is my Savior now, and I went to Houston and we baptized him in Trinity Bay. Corey and I did. And then Jim was like, that's it. Here's what I'm doing. I'm starting an outreach. We're going to take our property at Beach City, and we're going to open property in Wallaceville, which was kind of out in the woods. And we're going to open that up. We're going to even open up the property they were living at in a place called Beach City. What was the street it's on? Do you remember or no?
I don't.
Okay. Anyway, so they had 2 places, and so they opened up the doors, and that was the beginning of their, we're so grateful, we want to give it back. And I was like, wow, that's awesome. Well, Jim had, on one of those trips to Houston, he went and showed me the Ark, the place in Wallaceville out in the woods, and they had a cabin there, and a very nice cabin that was very livable. And then there was another building, and Jim had a weed growing operation going in that building. Well, Jim also had an FFL, a federal firearms license. He had previously owned a gun store, and he was making and selling weapons, and he had a weed growing thing going on, and I just said, I can't be any part of that. I'm sorry, I can't. And he wanted to bring people in, take them off the street. I'll go, that's a very noble idea. However, I cannot attach myself to that. So now, Corey and Zachary, are you guys aware of any of what I'm speaking about?
Yep.
Yeah.
Okay, Zach, what do you know about it?
I've spent a lot of time trying to help Jim organize his containers. I've seen all of his equipment for the growing operation.
When you say equipment, what equipment?
Growing lights, hydroponics, stuff like that.
So he had quite a bit of that you put in shipping containers.
Yes.
Okay, so I had told him that he had to take it down, he had to get rid of it, or I could not be part of, letting people from the ministry that I have out out in the world. I couldn't let people from the ministry come over there and be attached to that. Is that right?
That's correct.
Okay, but you have firsthand knowledge that this is all true?
Yes.
Do you ever know that Jim was trading weed for favors and for other products, maybe?
Yeah, specifically for the fruit stand on the side of the highway, he would trade marijuana for the produce.
Okay, so he was doing just different things with it. Okay, so Corey, you have knowledge of that as well?
Yes, I do.
Okay, I mean, you want to give us a short? Did you see the equipment?
I saw it after it was taken down, but I never went into the building itself and saw the tents up. But I did see jars of weed, and I knew that all that product was being kept in a safe inside of the building.
Okay.
We eventually put a bathroom in.
Right. So you did see that he did have marijuana, and he did have it in a safe. And he had it in what kind of a safe?
Like a big gun safe.
So he had a gun safe, and in the gun safe he had his weed.
Yes.
Okay, so now we've established that. There's other people. Let's see. I think Eric Carlos. I'm going to call on Eric Carlos real quick. Eric, are you there? Are you and Susie?
Yes.
Okay, so we're establishing that before Jonathan Kleck ever let one person I know show up at the Ark, I told Jim, no one can show up unless that goes away. Did you know that Jim had been doing that?
No, I had no idea.
You didn't know that he had been doing that, but you showed up. I don't know. Well, do you remember when you showed up there?
Was it May 9th?
Do you remember the year?
21? 21.
You think
Yeah.
21? Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Well, so now I'm going to establish the residents at the Ark because I'm going to show everybody a video by a guy named Gene Revel, who is obviously mentally ill, and then Kathy, Chuck's wife. Kathy is Jim Sullivan's wife's identical twin sister. Chuck is married to Kathy, and then Jim and Karen are married together. Jim and Karen Sullivan. So I'm going to establish the people that lived at the Ark now, how they got there, why they were there. So let's start with you. How did you guys, y'all were living in Louisiana, is that correct?
That is correct.
Okay, so how did you end up at the Ark?
Karen Sullivan contacted me via Facebook Messenger and got the phone number, and she called me and said, you guys should come stay at the Ark with us. And I said, I can't do that without the Lord giving me instruction to do so. And she had stated on the phone, yeah, but we need staff here at the Ark, that they're understaffed.
So she looked at you as a way to fill the staffing.
Yes.
Okay, so did she make any promises to you? Did she say, yeah, well, you don't have anything to worry about. If you come here, we'll take care of bills or anything like that, or no?
Yeah. Yes. Yeah. You don't have to worry about anything. And she said they would provide us with room, shelter, furniture, whatever our needs were. They would come.
And she looked at you as wanting for you to be staff.
That is correct.
Okay. All right. Good. Susie, you're married to Eric. Is that right?
Yes.
Okay. So you guys were invited by the Sullivans. Did I ever have any conversation with you about sending you there? Just yes or no?
No.
Okay, so I was not involved in any way, shape, or form, verbally or contractually, or saying, hey, you're one of my inner circle, I want you to go there. Did I ever do that?
No.
Okay, no. All right, so now I have Corey and Dave here. Dave was one of the first tenants to start at the Ark. And when Jim told me, this is what I want to do, I'm going to take the property in Wallaceville in the woods, we're going to fix it up, we're going to take the building that was growing weed, we're going to make it livable for people. I know that because Corey and I put in a bathroom. I think it cost me about $7,000 to get that bathroom in, and we did it during the freeze when there was 7-degree weather. And I was out there cutting boards at 1 in the morning in 7-degree weather. So I'll never forget about installing that bathroom because I built the whole thing with Corey. Corey, is that true?
True. Yep.
Okay, absolutely true. Okay, so now Dave is sitting right here. For those of y'all, this is Dave the Way. And when Jim started the whole thing, he needed people, he said, that could come here and that could help him set up like a ministry type thing where he could take in donations, and he needed people that had IT skills, and also, people that were able to, move stuff around. So I suggested Dave the Wave. Dave, you already had a place. You were living in Iowa, correct?
That's correct.
So you weren't homeless.
No.
But I called you and I said, hey, there's an opportunity that if you would like to move to the Ark, you can go there. Here's the situation. He needs people that have IT skills. And you said you accepted the offer.
Yeah, and Lee was
yeah, well,
homeless,
I'll get to Lee myself. Okay, so, but you accepted the offer because Jim had made it available to you.
Yes.
Okay. And so then there's Lee Liesel, and Lee needed a place to live. He had been living with his mother, and then things went south with his family. And I said, well, Lee's very good at IT stuff, and he's a pretty strong guy, and he could help clean up the place in the woods. So y'all were given a ride down to Houston, and you met the Sullivans, and then y'all moved into, Lee moved into the place out in the woods, and you moved into the place in Beach City, basically.
Yeah.
I know there's some switching around, but just more or less that's the way it worked.
That's correct, yes.
Okay. So now we've established the people that were there, except for Alex and Alyssa. Now, Corey was at the Ark for a short period towards the very end. Corey went there, I don't know, for maybe 4 or 5 months. At a point where we were getting ready for a get-together called A Night Under the Stars. And once Corey showed up, Corey let me know things were very dysfunctional. And Karen and Jim were not the people that should be managing or doing this thing because of all kinds of conflicts, whether or not they were spiritual or lack of leadership or, like a lot of cliquish behavior that was kind of reminiscent of high school starting cliques and getting one person against another. Does that sound right, Corey?
Yes, absolutely.
Okay, so you informed me of those things, is that correct?
Yep.
Okay, and I was a little bit concerned. I said, okay, well, I'll come talk to people. All right, now let me establish just some more people that were there very quickly. Eric, I'm going to add a call, okay?
Yes.
Okay, I'm going to add Alyssa to the call. Let's see. I'm going to add Alyssa to the call. Here we go. I'm adding Alyssa Howard, her and her husband, Alex. They ended up moving there. Hey, Alyssa, I'm merging a call. Okay, Alyssa.
Yes.
Hey, so you're on the phone with Eric and Susie. Dave and I are here, and Corey and Zach are here, and we're just trying to make sure there's a very clean record of how everybody got to the Ark and what it really was and what it was all about and what everybody's roles were, which is really important because of some things that have been said online that are just demonstrably false. So anyway, first question is, where were you living before the Ark?
We were living in Gearville, Alberta, Canada.
Okay, so y'all were in Alberta, Canada, and there was kind of a fear, from what I understood back then, that Canada was doing the lockdown and they were doing this forced inoculation of COVID. Is that right?
Yes.
Okay, so you were invited to go to the Ark by whom?
Jim.
Jim who?
Karen. Jim Sullivan.
And Karen. So they contacted you. Now I have Eric and Susie on the phone. You were contacted and you were extended an invitation to come to the Ark.
Yes.
Okay, so, and that was, did Jonathan Kleck have anything to do with you going to the Ark?
No.
Okay, no. Alright, but you guys managed to make it there and y'all were received and y'all ended up moving in out at the place in the woods, basically in Wallaceville, correct?
Correct.
And you were aware that at that time, that I had said that people from the ministry that I'd had for I don't know, a long, long time, since 2007, I had given the green light for people that, if there's people that needed a place to go for whatever reason, whether or not they were homeless or they were being persecuted, they could contact Jim and Karen and see maybe if there is room for them at the Ark. You were aware of that?
Yes.
Okay. And so, when y'all got there, now we're going to establish another record. When y'all got there, out at the Ark, at the place in the woods, was there a firing range at the Ark?
Yes.
For weapons?
Yes, correct.
So there was a firing range there. Okay, so now we're going to establish some more facts about weapons because some of the allegations that were made. So I've talked to all the people that, most of the people that have been there, and everybody is saying the same thing that when they got there, after whatever period of time, Jim had started to instill his fear of forced inoculations and that the possibility that military or federal agents could be showing up trying to force inoculate y'all. Is that true or false?
True.
Okay, Eric and Susie, y'all are on the phone as well with Alyssa. Eric, can you expand on that a little bit? Is that correct?
That is totally correct. Yes.
Okay, so Zach, you heard everything I said. Were you there at the time when he had the meeting with? No, you weren't there yet.
I was there.
Oh, you were there. Okay.
Yeah, and so we all met at Beach City, and we all had a meeting in regards.
Well, let me slow down.
Okay.
On the meeting, who called the meeting?
Jim.
And he said he wanted everyone to get together for a meeting.
That's correct.
Dave, were you aware of this meeting?
Yes.
Okay, so Jim Sullivan
Correct.
called a meeting for everyone that was living out there because he had quit growing his weed.
Yep.
And y'all had a place to live.
Yep.
And donations were coming in because I told people online, I think this is a noble thing to support because people that have nowhere to live, and they were sending money to Jim. Were you aware that I was giving Jim and Karen money as well?
Yes.
Okay, you just kind of heard it through the grapevine or just knew about it?
Yeah, I was there pretty early on at the Ark, and Jim was open about what he was receiving from you.
The kind of money, and I was giving him very substantial sums of money.
That's correct.
Okay. So now let's get to that meeting because there's something very disturbing that I'm going to show everybody. We're about to kind of crack the egg now, and this is very important because kind of the way Karen Sullivan is posturing herself is a very nefarious behavior, and I want to make sure we show everybody exactly how it is, the truth of it. Okay, so y'all were all at the Ark. The only person that was at the Ark at that time of my choosing was Dave the Wave. Was Terrell there at that time?
No.
Terrell had not shown up because the night under the stars had not happened yet, and Terrell and his girlfriend didn't move in until after that, correct?
Yes.
And they just showed up and just said, please don't make us leave. We have nowhere to go. And I said, we'll find you a place to sleep.
Yes.
Okay. All right, so let's talk about the meeting. Now, okay, guys, are y'all listening? This is very important because I have an ex-sheriff that's been threatening me, and I don't appreciate those threats, Chuck. And I have his wife that has been running her mouth for over a year, saying that I'm a liar, I'm a false prophet, I'm all these things, even though I laid hands on her sister, who was arguably weeks from being dead. And the Lord had me lay hands on her. And she was dragging tree trunks, mowing grass, doing everything everybody that's healthy was doing. As a matter of fact, she insisted on doing the grass. So tell us about the size of the lawn. Was it little or big?
No, it was large.
Enormous, right?
Yes. An
enormous piece of lawn. Okay, so now there's a meeting, and the meeting has been called by Jim and Karen. Jim. Was Karen there?
Yes.
So Karen was there. So Karen is sitting there, Jim's sitting there, all you guys are there, and Jim brings up, and from what I understand, because I showed up a few weeks later and had to deal with the second part of this, Jim was expressing his concerns that the military and or federal agents and law enforcement could be showing up at the place in Beach City and or the Ark in order to force vaccines on the population. Is that correct?
Yes. Correct.
Okay, Dave, can you just look at that camera right there?
Yep.
Is that absolutely true?
Absolutely correct.
Had Jonathan Kleck ever told you before that meeting y'all needed to get guns and make some kind of a stand if they showed up?
No.
No.
Never.
But Jim Sullivan, okay, Alyssa, Susie, Eric?
Absolutely
Nope.
not.
So Jonathan Kleck had never made
No.
No. But I ended up showing up a couple weeks later and trying to kind of talk to everybody about the meeting y'all had had with Jim. But Jim had called all y'all together. So Alyssa, that is true?
Yes.
So you were there at that meeting with your husband, your children were at, at the house in Beach City during that meeting, correct?
Yes, correct.
Okay, now Eric Harless and his wife Susie, y'all were there as well, is that correct?
Yes. Yes.
Okay, now for the record,
Yeah.
has Jonathan Kleck ever given you a weapon?
No.
No.
Okay,
No.
I never made any weapons. I never said, here's a weapon from me. But Jim Sullivan made weapons and distributed weapons to the people that were there. Is that true or false?
Yes.
That is true.
True.
Okay, well,
Yes.
y'all know that I don't have access to building weapons, but Jim did. I bought several weapons from him because he needed money so badly that he was willing to put parts together. He said, I'll just put these parts together. And I said, well, here, here's $1,400, here's $1,500, whatever, trying to give him personal money. But he did arm pretty much everybody that was there by giving them weapons. Is that true, Dave? Is that true?
Yes, except for me.
Yeah, okay, that's right. Dave, tell everybody what you said.
I declined to take a weapon. I just kind of made a joke that I'll just put a target on a T-shirt and let them shoot me.
Okay, that's Dave, for sure. So Dave said, no, I'm good. Just make me a T-shirt with a target. If they show up, they can just shoot me. Just give me a target. Okay, but Jim and Karen Sullivan was completely complicit with the passing out of these weapons, yes?
Yes.
Yes.
Yes. Yes.
Okay, I'm just, again, did y'all know that Jim Sullivan had a gun shop before y'all got there?
No.
Did he ever communicate to you that before he started the ARC, one of the things he had was a gun shop?
Yes, he did.
Okay,
Yes.
yeah, okay. So y'all knew that previously he had a gun shop and he had a lot of gun stuff. Is that accurate? A lot of gun parts. And how'd y'all get the weapons? Did he make them? Do you know?
Yes.
So he
Yes.
basically took the gun parts he had and he constructed weapons for all you guys.
Yes.
Okay, now I know this to be a fact because I went there myself. The day that I met the Sullivans when I went to Houston, Jim, as a gift, handed me a gun. I did not own a weapon except for a pellet gun at that point in my life because when my mom died, my dad sold all the weapons that were in my mom's house that were in the gun safe because he was very distraught and he just wanted to sell everything we had. I was pretty upset because the guns that I used to hunt with as a child had all gotten sold as well. But I didn't own any weapons except a pellet gun here in San Antonio when Jim gifted me a gun that he had made. But then subsequently I bought several guns from Jim because he was handing out all these guns to everybody. And I was like, okay, well, that's kind of weird. Did he instill it in you guys that the ARC, the place in Wallaceville, would become a place where in the event of civil unrest, everybody would basically make their way to the ARC and you guys would hold up there and do the best you could to avoid whatever social unrest was going on?
Yes.
Okay, so
Yep.
Corey, Zach,
Yep.
That's
Corey.
the plan.
Okay,
Yeah.
was that my plan or was that Jim and Karen's?
Jim and Karen.
Did I have anything to do with that plan?
No.
So, if someone's saying that I was making those plans, would that be true or a complete lie?
Yeah, that's false.
Completely false.
Yep.
Okay. Yeah, I was there. I did see the gun range. I actually used the gun range several times because Jim introduced me to his gun range, and he introduced all of us to the gun range, and he would take people there and show them how to shoot. Is that right?
Yep.
Okay, is that Karen and Susie and Eric? Is that correct?
Yes.
Yes.
And Alyssa, is that correct?
Yes.
Okay, so now we've established Jim and Karen were the ones making and passing out guns, not at my behest, but at his own fear of social unrest and what was coming and the forced inoculations. Is that a fair statement?
Yes.
Okay, everybody just chime in. Yes.
Yes.
Okay. Okay, now here we go. Now we're going to move on. I'm going to play. Dave, can you send Alyssa the Gene Revel video? Are y'all aware of a guy that has a channel named Gene Revel?
I am.
Yep.
Okay, let's do it one at a time. Corey, are you aware of his channel?
Yes, I am.
So, Corey, if you had to give in your own short, brief description after watching one or two segments of the videos that we've watched and just looking at the guy's channel, what would be your just general assessment?
Well, I mean, obviously they're mentally unstable, spiritually unstable, and far from living in the truth. The 226.
Okay, so let me ask you this. After looking at his channel and looking at all his videos and the monikers and the thumbnails that he puts on his video, is his entire channel centered around attacking and trying to get people to hate Jonathan Kleck?
Absolutely, yes.
Do you believe the goal of the channel is to incite violence against Jonathan Kleck?
Yes.
Right. Go ahead, Dave.
He's got 122 videos against you right now. Roughly.
So he is completely obsessed. He has 122 videos. I believe every video is towards me, and he's a sick man. And I feel I do feel sorry for him. I was praying for him last night after I heard his video. I was like, dude, this guy needs help.
Yeah. So much so. Sorry. But
no, go ahead.
So much so, and I'm assuming that you're going to show this, but so much so that when you focused your attention on someone else,
right,
at the behest of the Lord, he was upset. Gene was upset that you turned your attention
towards a guy named James Supplanter.
Correct.
Okay, let me jump in very quickly so people understand. So this guy is obsessed with me. He does hundreds of videos attacking me. It's childish and it's weird. If you look at the pictures, he'll take my picture and scab it on like my face and scab it on to some weird creature. And his goal is to malign and to just degrade me. That's the focus of the entire channel. Is that right?
Yep.
Yeah, it's easy to see. So now he's got I think two channels. He's got the Gene Rebel channel, that's what he calls it, and he's got one called Jonathan Cluck. So he's actually using mostly my name, and he has a nickname for me. He calls me JJ, and all of the people at his channel now call me JJ. Well, my name's Jonathan Kleck, but it's a derogatory attempt at it just being mean. It's like kids in high school, coming up with a nickname that they know what the meaning is, and then they call that to you just to be derogatory. Does that sound right?
Yeah.
Okay. So now we're going to watch Gene Rebel's short video. I encourage everyone, and especially federal agents, go look at all the videos and realize that Chuck Edge, Kathy Edge, Jim Sullivan, and Karen Sullivan, who, in my opinion, are all delusional because they are over at this guy's channel like cheerleaders, cheering him on. And the comments that Karen Sullivan is making, Kathy Edge, Chuck is threatening me online. I mean, I have a stack of threats from a former law enforcement agency telling me that if I was trying and seek some kind of a monetary recompense for what they did with all the people that ended up at the Ark and how they took in all this money and then told everyone get the F out once they had taken in all this money and fixed up their property and then gotten what they want. But when they were questioned by me, they lied about it and then they told everyone get the F out. Even after I myself, I think, personally gave them over donations that people were sending to me, I was just giving them to them in the tune of probably at least $50,000. And in my estimation, they received well over $100,000 to increase the value of their property out in the woods. They bought a building for $10,000 that Corey and Zach and we fixed the building up for a get together out in the woods for the night under the stars. And that was just in a whole nother building that we converted, put bathrooms in. I had plumbers come in from other states and pay the plumbers, I think, $6,000 to do all that work. And we poured a ton of money, a ton of hard work, and a ton of goodwill into the entire project. But Jim and Karen were behind people's backs, just talking very hatefully. And we're going to get to that in just a minute. Okay, now, let's do a quick recap. Jim allegedly has his moment with the Lord, and I believe it. because I saw a major change in him. He used to wear a kilt every single day. Well, it made sense to me. It was kind of some kind of stress mechanism, maybe, because he had been molested and he wore a kilt every day. That was his daily thing, to wear a kilt. But then he changed to wearing pants. But he had been wearing a kilt for a long time, from what I understand. He was happy. I mean, I got to see him really full of joy. But then I saw that joy slipping away on some of the trips I'd take to Houston to go work with Corey and everybody, and we'd go work our asses off out in the woods. And his joy was going away, and he was throwing his phone after conversations with his wife. Is it a fair assessment from you guys to say that you saw Jim literally turning back away from the joy because of the harassment from his wife?
Yep.
Yes.
Did he express that to you?
Yes, and I personally saw an instance where I was in the truck, just Jim and I, and after a phone call with his wife, Karen Sullivan, he had hung up the phone and threw his cell phone into the back seat of the truck in a very upset manner. And yeah, so it's fair to say.
Okay, so let me interject. Didn't Jim come and verbally abuse you guys many times, and then he said, now that the story, the testimonies I heard is he would go beat up on people verbally and then ask you if you felt like shit, and then he'd say what?
I would say yeah, and he would say, well, now that you feel the way I do, I feel much better.
So, and that was because he would usually have it on the outs with Karen Sullivan.
Right.
So they would be in fights. He would take it out on you guys, and he would say, do you feel like shit now? And if you said yes, he'd say good, because now you feel like I do. Is that accurate?
Yeah.
Okay. Alyssa, did you want to add something? I heard you say yes.
Yes, I remember him treating me certain ways that were not feeling part, just pushing me away, kind of rude when he spoke to me. It just...
Hostility?
Him and we didn't really connect. Yeah, there was some hostility there. I was always on the outs. It was almost like I felt like maybe he didn't like women or something. I don't know.
I gotcha.
It was very strange for me.
Okay.
And we never really connected.
I gotcha. Okay, so now we're just going to take that whole scenario that has been painted, and I want to just kind of coalesce everything into where this is going right now. The reason I'm making this record is because Karen Sullivan is making statements online that are directly contradictory to everything I just told everybody in this last, let's see, how long have we been talking? Whatever time I've been talking, Karen Sullivan has been making statements that are completely contradictory, as if her and Jim are these golden saints and we're all these evil people. Now remember, before I met the Sullivans, I had a pellet gun. None of my friends had guns. But Jim felt compelled to arm everybody, and he had an FFL, Federal Firearms License, while he was growing marijuana. Is that all true to the best of y'all's knowledge?
Yep.
Okay. Are y'all aware that I'm the one that told him he had to cease and desist, or nobody was going to live there at all? I could not back it.
Yes.
Yeah.
And so that's absolutely true?
Yes.
Okay, good. Okay, so now let's move on to where we're at right now. I'm going to play a video. Alyssa, did you get a video from Dave the Wave?
Yes, I did.
Okay, so I encourage you to turn the video. I'm going to play the video now for everybody, and this is the person. His name's Gene. I don't know what his actual name is, but this guy's channels are called Gene Rebel and one called Jonathan Cluck, and they are nothing but psychotic, delusional channels in order to get people to hate Jonathan Cluck and for him to malign me. And Karen Sullivan and Jim Sullivan, Kathy Edge, Karen's sister, and Chuck, of all people, a former sheriff, are over there encouraging this person, and they are he is allowing these people to write their comments as if his video platform is a forum for Jim, Kathy, Karen, and Chuck, as well as all the other people that are over there. I encourage everyone to go look at every comment, go look at every channel, and see what the common denominator is. They are just livid and hate Jonathan Kleck because I've shown the world the Vatican's a snake. All the bombings in the United States are printed as images on the U.S. currency notes. I have been to the FBI in San Antonio on UTSA Boulevard. I sat down with 2 agents, and I showed those agents all the bombings, the Federal Building bombing, the Pentagon bombing, the Twin Tower bombing, printed as images on U.S. currency notes. I had maybe a 2-hour meeting there. One of the agents was stupefied. The other agent looked like he wanted to kill me. I left it with them, but now I'm going to show them the new images that have been printed on the $100 bill and the $10 bill that show the destruction of the United States printed on U.S. currency notes that is forthcoming. What I'm saying is the destruction of the United States is about to happen, and proof of it is images of those bombing events printed as images on U.S. currency notes because I am an end of the world harbinger. Now, for the record, I seek to hurt nobody for any reason at all. That's not my goal. I'm a peace-loving person. However, I do not believe anyone has the right to force a vaccine on anyone either. I believe, that no one should be forced to get a vaccine if they don't want one. That's between you and the Lord. It's like if a woman wants an abortion and she wants to get an abortion, she says, my body, my choice. I believe the same thing when it comes to vaccines. My body, my choice. If I want to die from COVID, let me die. So, just for the record, that's my belief. And anyone that has their belief is welcome to their belief. Okay, now, let's watch Gene Revel. Remember, this is the platform for Chuck and Kathy Edge. This is a platform. I've saved, Dave, how many comments do you think we have? Just guesstimate.
The threatening ones, about 38.
About 38, 30 to 40. There's approximately 30 to 40 threatening comments from the Edges and from the Sullivans on this guy's channel. I want y'all to watch this. Ready? And this is serious. This is not right. There's a word for it too. It's called evil. When you lie, when you misrepresent, especially someone that showed up and laid hands on you because you were dying of cancer. And I'm going to get to the part where the Lord told me your blessings have been removed now. Because that's what he had to do to other people in the Bible that didn't do what he had asked them to do. So we're going to get to where the falling out was. Why are these people doing this? Why all of a sudden is Jim and Karen and Kathy and Chuck, why are they beating up Jonathan Kleck? I didn't live at the Ark. All I did was give them a crap load of money and go out there with Corey and work our asses off. Is that correct, Corey?
Yep.
Okay, did I receive some kind of financial benefit from those guys?
No.
Or did I just pour out money, probably what I couldn't even afford, to make sure people had a place to live?
That's true. That's it.
My heart and soul was in it for the well-being of others.
Yeah.
Jim and Karen's heart and soul were in it for themselves.
That's correct.
Unfortunately, Jim, when the Lord opened the door to him to set him free, he didn't make a stand and stand up for what was right. He cowered down like a coward, and he folded under the pressure of Karen Sullivan and probably the rest of the crew. Yep. Okay, now here we go. Let's watch Gene. Everybody pay attention now. I understand nobody is a psychologist, nobody is a professional, but we're all allowed to make a determination from what we hear and what we see. Now let's look at what this guy does. This is his. I'm going to show you his channel. This is called Gene Revel. He has a bullet. I want everybody to look, see if we can stretch that out. That is a bullet. That is a bullet going in an eye. That's his moniker. Okay, this is kind of funny just for the record. After my videos, I give a bear, like a teddy bear, a hug. So, I mean, so he has a bullet going in an eye, and then I'm the guy that says, let's do a hug at the end of the video. Okay, here you go. This is Gene Revel. Ready? Determine it yourself.
Ah, what a beautiful moon on the 5th of May in the year 2023. Oh, come on in, moon. That is a pretty full moon. beautiful, beautiful, beautiful night. Starry night. I don't think you're gonna like what you're about to receive, Jonathan. It's gonna prove you're a hypocrite. It's most certainly gonna prove you're a false prophet. That's for sure. The Mayan calendar flop. The Hoover Dam. Oh man. That was a joke. So many things. Yeah, I lined a few of them up. Put them in a video this evening since, you're calling me out and everything. Nothing like being called out before you get heard out. You never once said any of the words that I've spoken. You've only butchered my thumbnails that I use, but that's cool. Because whenever my words do come out, Johnny, the people are going to be able to make up their own minds as to what my intentions were. They'll see. So let my words out. You're the one that's holding my words in, for goodness sakes. That says something in itself right there. James, you didn't pay squat attention to him for however many years. He puts out one video that you don't like and you're on him for days and days. I put in hours upon hours and you hide it. Why? What are you afraid of? I know exactly what you're afraid of. A lot of other people do too, but you're afraid of being... Oh, there's the moon. Oh. You're afraid of being found out. You and Zach and Corey and Kat. I've got files in my hard drive that go way back. Things that I should have brought out by now. It's just I'm lazy sometimes. So you should, consider yourself... Oh, that almost looks like Krusty the Clown there for a second. With his moon as a nose. I wonder if that's God telling me something. Yeah. And those diffraction spikes at your Night Under the Stars fake attempt of... So many things, JJ, we need to still discuss. Exposure. Boy, light exposure on your camera. Ain't that something? Alright, I'll leave it at that. I'll just leave it at the video I'm going to post later tonight. It's going to show your most hypocritical side. Plus, it's going to prove you're a false prophet. What do you think, JJ? Give this video a thumbs up.
I'm sorry. God bless this guy. I mean it. That's so sad. I wanna make a point. Okay, we're gonna go to the 227 mark. I want people to understand now. Again, this is an unstable person. Every video on his channel is about me. The videos that I do, I show you guys what's going on in society, the breakdown. I'm an end-of-the-world harbinger. I know that may be difficult to believe, but the record will speak for itself. I'm going to show you the bombings that I prophesied in 2007. The words that came out of my mouth are now printed as images on U.S. currency. You won't be able to fake what I'm showing you. You won't be able to fake anything of what I'm showing you. This guy is a lunatic. Every video is about me, I believe. And in a derogatory, bizarre way. Now think about this. Chuck Edge and Kathy Edge are cheerleaders for this guy. I'm being threatened by Chuck Edge and Kathy Edge. I'm being threatened by Jim and Karen Sullivan. For what? After I put in all this money and help into a place called the Ark and the place in Beach City, and and I allowed people that follow my ministry, I said, yeah, y'all go help them out. They got a paid set up to take in funds, and they took in this money and they fixed up their property. Then they told everyone, get the F out. They sold their property, and I was threatened by Chuck Edge that if I was to seek financial compensation from Edith, the mother-in-law, because that's one of the places they were, some of the people were living in Beat City. She owned the property, and he was worried I was going to file a lien against the properties until there was some kind of financial, compensation for all the money they took in, and then just throwing everybody out. That's illegal. You can't do that. Former sheriff that gave me his word, and I'm going to show it. I have everything. Everything I have is documented. Everything. He gave me his word. His wife would shut her mouth because she is just as loony as the channel itself. And I said, please have your wife just stop talking all her nonsense, calling me a liar, calling me a false prophet. Please just have her stop. And I will not let all these people go file a class action lawsuit. There were people that wanted me to file a class action lawsuit. There's people that wanted to give me affidavits as to the weed growing thing that they saw. People that were actually former law enforcement. And I said, no, we're going to turn the other cheek. We're going to leave them alone. And then now I'm going to show you what the result was. Let's go to Karen Sullivan's statement. Okay, I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to show you the channel. So this is the Gene Rebel channel. I'm going to go down on the comments here. It says, glad you're back, Gene. Kleck has gone mad since you took a vacation. He had to find someone to beat up on in your absence. God bless James for being steadfast. I want to make a point to anyone that might be able to read people that have psychological issues. Gene, the guy that owns this channel, he was upset that I went and called out someone on a channel called James Supplanter, in which he told everybody, if you're looking for the arrival of Christ, then you're tempting God and you're doing the wrong thing. That is completely wrong according to biblical words. It says, therefore I say, watch, you're always supposed to be ever vigilant for the second coming of Christ. And this guy named James Supplanter was speaking contradictorily to that. And in a prayer time, I heard in my spirit, you need to go straighten that out. I tried to contact him and say, hey, please don't do that. That's against the Word of God. So please stop. He wouldn't do it. So there was a couple videos in which we discussed the Word, and there was a difference between what he was saying and what the Word says. And then Gene Rebel is so upset. I'm sorry. Gene Rebel's so upset because he says it in this video. Like, I went over there and gave him the attention that this guy's trying to get by doing all these hundreds of videos or 130 or whatever videos. He's trying to get my attention. Here's the news. I haven't watched. This is the only video I've really watched. 4 minutes or what? How long is the video?
Yeah, 4 something.
It's about 4 minutes, 8 seconds or something. I watched this whole video the other day and I saw the comments from Karen and Kathy and I was like, these people need to be straightened out. So let me just continue on this. Ready? So here is the video I just played for you. What are you so afraid of, JJ? Why are you too frightened to critique my video on air? So then I'll go to the 1 minute 20 mark maybe. Or let's see, let me see where it is.
What are you afraid of?
Here we go.
I know exactly what you're afraid of. A lot of other people do too.
Hang on one sec. I'm at the 126 mark. I want you guys to listen to how crazy delusional this is. This person believes I'm watching his videos. He thinks I'm holding his words in. Like I have time to watch his videos and I'm purposely ignoring him or something. Then he shows how butthurt he is because I am not talking about him, but I went and made some videos about a guy named that has a channel named James Supplanter. Okay, here we go. Listen up.
You've only butchered my thumbnails that I use, but that's cool. Because whenever my words do come out, Johnny, the people are going to be able to make up their own minds as to what my intentions were. They'll see. So let my words out. You're the one that's holding my words in, for goodness sakes. That says something in itself right there. James, I mean, you didn't pay squat attention to him for however many years. He puts out one video that you don't like and you're on him for days and days. I put in hours upon hours and you hide it.
Oh my
Him for
Okay.
however many years. He puts out one video that you don't like and you're on him for days and days. I put in hours upon hours and you hide it.
Okay, so there you go. I went ahead and played that a few times for you. That's just delusional. That now let me show you right here. This is Karen Sullivan, Piece 454 at Cat GR7. Cat, go ahead and paint whatever story you want. I'm gonna reference this. So, Cat Young was being maligned, as is common for everyone these people deal with. They malign everybody. And they had maligned a friend of mine named Cat Young, so Karen decides to respond to Cat. And this is what I'm going to make the point about right here. Go ahead, Cat, and paint whatever story you want. Every story has a villain, and Kleck has made sure Jim and Kathy and I are exactly that. It's a free country. Badmouth me all you like. I could care less. Do you realize inner circle common knowledge? Now, again, she's referring to inner circle. Let me ask you guys a question. Was I at the Ark with some inner circle?
No.
Did I hardly ever... I mean, how often did you see me at the Ark?
It was pretty rare.
Yeah, I mean, I showed up
Fairly
to...
enough.
And when I showed up, what did I show up to do?
We worked.
We just worked our asses off.
Yeah.
Yes or no?
Yeah.
Yes.
Are there videos of me building buildings?
Yes.
Nail guns, boards, bathrooms, plumbing, electrical. Did I take an electrician from San Antonio to go refurbish a building that Jim had bought?
Yep.
Do you guys have any idea? Do you have any knowledge of me financially benefiting from the whole Ark thing?
No, not at all.
But Jim and Karen financially benefited from all the people sending the money, including myself. Yes.
Yeah. Yep.
Okay, but now Karen wants to say that I'm painting them as the villain when all they've done is for a year run their mouth about me since I Did I relocate all the people from the Ark that were kicked out?
Yep.
Yes.
Did I, Karen? Let's see, Eric and Susie, y'all were not financially capable of relocating yourself, were you?
No.
Okay, Alyssa, were you and your husband and your 2 children financially capable to relocate?
No, not at all.
Okay, so I made sure everyone had a place to live. I found y'all places to live and made sure we got rent paid. Yes or no?
Yes.
Yep.
Did Jim and Karen offer you any financial means to help with that?
No.
No.
Okay. Zach, what about you?
Yeah, you took me into your own home.
I took you in
I
because...
wouldn't have been able to do anything about it. I was just going to be on the street.
So, yeah. So, that, Dave, what about you?
Yeah, when it was such short notice, we only got 2 weeks' notice.
So, y'all got 2 weeks' notice, and they're telling you, everyone, get out. We've taken in all the money we need. We fixed up our property. Our property is worth a whole lot more. It's got buildings that have 2 buildings that have functioning bathrooms. We took that place. It would look like just a junkyard because there had been a hurricane. And did we clean that entire property up for them?
Yes.
Yes, we did. And did we turn it into something very nice?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay, and there were 3 functioning buildings that had bathrooms and places for people to sleep. Is that correct?
Yep.
That's correct.
Fencing.
Yes.
Did I have some inner circle at the Ark?
No.
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 Or was it just because I showed up because you guys loved me, it was nice to see me?
Yeah.
Yes.
And then it
Absolutely.
was nice for me to get to see y'all. And then we would have a meal together, go out, do whatever. We'd work for days, and then I'd say, I love you guys, see you later. Does that sound about right?
Yep.
Yes.
Okay, but for someone to claim I had some inner circle, would you say that's delusional, or is that a lie, or what?
Delusional.
Totally erroneous. Yeah, it's a lie.
Yeah, it's a lie. Delusional.
It's
Yeah,
a delusional lie. Kind of like the guy that did the video, name whatever. He won't put his face and he won't put his name out there. He'll call his channel Gene Rebel, and he'll call it Jonathan Cluck, but he won't show his face and he won't put his name out there. Okay, now I'm just making a record. I'm gonna read Karen Sullivan's comment. Kat, go ahead and paint whatever story you want. Every story has a villain, and Click made sure Jim and I and Kathy are exactly that. It's a free country. Badmouth me all you like. I could care less. Do you realize inner circle common knowledge? Click said the Lord instructed that when people turn, they won't be human anymore, and it's okay to shoot them. You understand that I am depicted as one that is turned. Go ahead and incite as many unstable click followers as you like. Is that comment to you truthful or delusional?
Delusional.
Delusional.
False.
So yeah,
Delusional.
have we talked about the reality that if the pit does open up, what it might look like? Yes?
Yeah.
Yep.
Yes, we have, and said it's probably going to be something like a sci-fi movie, so I don't know if our brains will be able to comprehend. If we look up and we see locusts coming on the earth, it says men's hearts will fail them for fear after those things that are coming on the earth. Okay, but is in any way what she just said here, do you realize inner circle common knowledge? Kleka said the Lord instructed him, when people turn, they won't be human anymore. It's okay to shoot them. Now listen, you understand that I am depicted as one that is turned. Okay, Eric and Susie, you comment on that first.
Yeah, so that's totally misconstrued and felonious statement. That's not what was.
That's not at all based in anything I've said that, oh, Karen would be one of the ones that you need to go get.
No, absolutely not.
Is it absolutely absurd and ridiculous?
Yeah, yeah.
It is. Go ahead and incite as many unstable click followers as you like. That's odd because that's all they're doing on this channel is inciting people. Do I incite people to hurt others? Anybody?
No.
Absolutely not.
Have I ever incited y'all to try and hurt somebody?
No.
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 Dave?
No.
Do all I do is care for as many people as I can?
Absolutely.
Yes.
Okay. All right. Here it goes. Then it says, Click said the Lord instructed when people turn, they won't be human anymore. It's okay to shoot them. You understand that I am depicted as one of those that is turned. Go ahead and incite as many unstable Click followers as you like. Let's see how that turns out, shall we? Who is going to carry it out? You, Alex, Zach, Corey, Ryan? Are you going to do it with the guns Jim gave to everybody in the inner circle or at Click's request? Does that sound right to you?
No.
No.
Oh, no.
No.
Does it sound kind of crazy to you?
It's totally crazy.
Yeah.
Or maybe the weapons Click purchased from Jim's private collection? I purchased some weapons from Jim because Jim needed money all the time. I did not know he was involved in a big lawsuit. Alex told me that because he had leaked it to Alex. And so anyway, they are really misconstruing anything that's true. Is that accurate in your
Yeah.
estimation?
Yep.
Yes.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Okay. Well, I'll tell you what. There's more here, but it doesn't even matter at this point because it's so delusional that the record's going to speak for itself. I encourage everyone to go to this guy's channel, Gene Rebel, and have a look for yourself. I encourage everyone to click on every single comment and every channel that is leaving comments and see that they are all bent hate click channels, like they're trying to sick people on me. Does that sound accurate that they're trying to incite violence against me?
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, absolutely. Okay, so now let's see. Let's talk about Chuck and his. I have Zach here with me, and Zach was privy to a phone call when I was desperately trying to get people places to live. And Dave, y'all have been served with an eviction notice, correct?
Yes.
you were aware that I had contacted Chuck Edge and I had asked him, please, just to give us a little bit of time so I could find places for y'all to live. Are you aware of that?
Yes, he told me.
Okay. Susie and Eric, when y'all were there, did Karen Sullivan ever look at you and tell you, you never have to worry about being kicked out? We would never do something like that.
That is exactly what she said. Yep.
That's exactly what she said?
Yep.
Yeah, so, Karen, let me ask you this. Would you consider Karen Sullivan to be a person that speaks truth, or that lying is part of her, character?
She does not speak truth. She lies. Yes.
Okay, yeah, you're kind of breaking up just a little bit there. So, Karen, it's very... Karen very commonly lies. Okay, so now I'm going to get into very quickly how this all ended. Because we had a night under the stars, Karen Sullivan was starting to manifest extreme hatred towards myself. And I was trying to figure out what was going on. Because all these people were coming from all over the nation for a get-together called A Night Under the Stars, where I was going to reveal to everybody what the Lord had showed me about the system to understand who we are in the Bible, that we are really the stars that fell from heaven, and that we are trapped in host bodies. We are God's princes, and that the Bible declares it. And I was able to show you guys the biblical passages that proved it. When Lucifer said, I will arise above the stars of hell, the word stars is princes. And the Lord let me show it to everybody, and then there was a huge miracle that happened where the Lord said if I would step out on faith and tell Corey and Zach that night, we would go out to the ark, and the Lord said, I will show up and prove it. Zach and Corey, is that true?
Yep.
Did we show up out there with Jim Sullivan and Karen Sullivan? Yes?
Yes.
Did something supernatural happen?
Dad showed up.
Yeah. Did a giant eye in the sky show up made by the moon in like a rainbow-colored eye?
Yep.
Yes.
Uh-huh. Were the stars still out?
Yes.
They were.
Did I tell you that if the Lord told me if we went out there that night, He would show up and prove that one of our eyes goes to heaven as an angel, an angelic being, and another eye goes to the pit as a demonic being, and that the whole system is angels and demons in opposition within host bodies? Is that true?
Yes.
So when I said the Lord said He would show up, did you guys think, what did you think? Like, when I said the Lord said He would show up, what did you think?
I didn't know what to expect, but I knew that I was going to be there.
Yep. Okay, I had no idea what to expect either. I was like, okay, what does that mean? Okay, but we did show up. I told you the Lord said, we were in Beach City. I said, the Lord said it's time to go to the ark right now. So we got to go right now. He said, go now. So we drove out to the property in Wallaceville, and we got there, and I was standing in a little building that we were going to be converting. And as I was standing there talking to you, I said, the Lord said, if we look up, and we looked up, and what was in the sky?
The eye.
Big eye, yeah.
When you say a big eye, I mean, was it kind of an eye, or was it just like, holy crap, that's an eye?
Yeah, it was an eye. And right when you said look to the G in the ceiling of the building that we were working on, getting ready to work on.
Yeah, like look to the
right
G,
when
like
you said
God.
that, and then you looked outside. Right when you uttered those words, and then you looked up, and you're like, "No way, look!" And yeah, we all started freaking out.
And there was this perfect eye in the sky.
Yep.
Yeah.
With all the stars out to confirm that one of our eyes in our body goes to a star
Yeah.
as a source of our existence. That's who you are. That's why He said your descendants will be more numerous than the stars in the sky.
Yep.
Because the light that's in us we're stars, and then the darkness that's in us goes to the pit, to a worm. Is that correct?
Yes.
Is the Vatican a snake?
Certainly
Yes.
is.
Is the largest altar in the world a dead sheep?
Yes. Yep.
Did the Lord show that to me, or did someone else show that to the world? Or
Revelation from the Lord.
do y'all have personal knowledge that I've laid hands on people that are terminally ill, or they're blind and they're well?
Yes.
Yes.
So y'all have all seen that with your own eyes.
Yes.
Yep.
Has Karen Sullivan ever done any of these things?
No.
No.
What about Jim Sullivan?
No.
No.
So would you consider them liars?
Yes.
Yes.
Would you consider them bullies?
Yes.
So, if Karen Sullivan and Kathy and them are making allegations like, I said it's okay to kill people like that, what would you say?
Delusional.
That's a lie.
Yeah.
Would you say that the channel that they're at is completely delusional?
Yes.
Yes.
Let's go have a look at that channel real quick. So I'm going to go to Gene Rebel's channel right now, and we're going to take a look. Okay, so the unanswered question, let's see. Gene put me on the head of a penis. So here's Gene, unanswered question. He put my face on the head of a penis. Every single thumbnail has me. 2 things a narcissist will do when you confront them. Every picture is of me. It looks like he took some of them down. Oh no, here we go. So look, so he has me sitting on a play horse. He has me like, I don't know if that's Rihanna or something. They're saying that I'm a narcissist. Let me ask you guys a question. Do I try and financially help everyone I know that needs help?
Yes.
Do I try and keep money for myself?
No.
No. Give it away.
Do I give the very boots off my feet to people that need them?
Yes.
Do y'all know of Karen Sullivan, that Karen Sullivan bought a motorcycle? It was an Indian motorcycle, and she had it delivered to her, even though she didn't know how to ride one. Are y'all aware of that?
Yep.
Yes.
Yep.
Did you know that she took that picture and she sent it out to people of her sitting on a motorcycle? And she said, this is when I was a real badass. Are y'all aware of that?
Yes.
Yep.
Do you consider that? Do you know what narcissistic behavior is or no?
Yeah.
Where it's all about you?
Yeah.
Would you ever suggest that Jonathan Kleck's life is all about him?
No.
No.
Is it all about helping others?
Yes.
That's right.
Well, why don't we just leave it at there unless anybody's got anything else they want me to say. Let's talk about why y'all are not at the Ark, okay?
Mhm.
And then we'll wrap this up. So, after the night under the stars had happened, and I had heard Karen was starting to say all these hateful things to me, I was in Beach City, and I found out Karen was being just derogatory to the people that lived there. She was asking Dave the Wave and Eric and Susie and other people to start chipping in on bills. And I said, that's ridiculous. I'm the one paying all the bills. I mean the entire light bill, the entire, cable bill. I was the one giving them the money to pay all the bills, not just your portion. And I let y'all know that. Is that correct?
Correct.
Yep.
Okay, that's correct, all you guys?
Yep.
Okay, so then they were, but Jim and Karen were making disparaging remarks about y'all kind of being freeloaders. Is that correct?
Yes.
Yes.
And I was upset. I was like, how could you even do that? Remember, she told Eric to come there because she needed staff. Everything would be paid for. But all the bills were being paid for me in donations that they were taking in from people all over the nation that were following my ministry. Jim and Karen didn't know anybody to send them donations, did they?
No.
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 Not that you would know of. But once I opened up the doors to my ministry, then it was easy for them to raise money to do the things they wanted. Does that sound about right?
Yep.
Correct.
Yes.
Okay. So then after the night under the stars and Karen had started manifesting extreme hostility, I confronted her and I said, Karen, I can't understand what's going on here. I mean, you of all people that the Lord healed of stage 4 cancer. And Karen yelled at me and she said, Johnny, it wasn't you that healed me. It was the Lord. And I laughed and I said, I know, Karen, because he sent me. Otherwise, why didn't she just heal herself sitting in her rocker chair at her mom's house while she was dying? So she started manifesting extreme hatred. At one point during the get-together preparations for the night under the stars, even though I had converted the building that Jim bought, spent $10,000 on, and then I spent another $6 just for the bathroom, probably put another $10 into it just to get it all ready. There was a concern that the bathroom would not be able to house all the people. Between all the bathrooms on the property, there was a concern that the septic would not handle it. A friend of mine, Billy Lojak, he confirmed that information because he owns a septic company. So Jack Lamb had approached Karen and said, we really need to do something about maybe getting porta potties there. And Karen's response was, I don't give a shit. They can walk around and shit up to their ankles. Are y'all aware of that?
Yep.
Yes.
So y'all are personally aware that she made those statements.
Yes.
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 So she actually had kind of a disdain for everybody. Is that correct?
Yes.
I found that very hard to to understand and deal with myself. And I was like, why does she hate everybody? What's going on? And so I confronted her, and that's when she informed me it was God that healed her, not me. And I said, I know, Karen, because the Lord's the one that sent me to heal you. Remember, he's the one that sent me to help your husband, showing him the image of the Virgin of the kid that was being molested, you know, like your husband was. Have y'all seen a lot of miracles around this guy, Jonathan Kleck?
A lot.
Oh, yeah.
Yes.
I mean, people that are blind seeing.
Yes.
Yes.
Have you seen people with incurable diseases getting healed?
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah, have you seen Karen or Jim Sullivan do any of those things?
Nope.
But you can tell that they're hostile towards all of us, yes?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay. Well, so here's what happened. I called up Karen Sullivan. The Lord told me I want you to call and confront her. Corey, you're here, right?
Yep.
I was sitting in front of you, Corey, and I was in the living room, and I was kind of just thinking about things, and I heard the Lord say, I want you to call and confront Karen Sullivan. She's speaking contemptuously about you and the ministry and the people of the ministry. I want you to call and confront her. Corey, what did I say? What was I like talking to the ceiling? Yes?
Yes.
Did I say, Lord, I can't do that?
Yes.
And I said, I can't do that because the ramifications of that are too severe. And I would have to know for sure because that's something I can't get wrong. I have to be 100% right if I make that phone call. Is that right?
Yep.
And the Lord told me, I want you to open that book on your desk and I'll prove it. Were you there?
Yes, I was.
When I opened that book right in front of you in your presence, what was written directly on that page?
Speaking contemptuously.
The exact words that came out of my mouth.
The exact words.
And I was like, oh my God, you got to be kidding. And so I said, okay, Lord, I will. And I called her up and I said, Karen, I'm really sorry. This is kind of an awkward call, but you know, there's this hostility thing I've noticed that's going on, from you. And the Lord informed me, he told me to call and confront you, that you are speaking contemptuously about me to other people and to confront you. Corey, what did she do?
She lied, denied it 3 times.
And I pressed her. I said, no, Karen, I'm telling you, the Lord told me. And she said, oh, no, I'm not doing that. Is that true?
True.
Okay. And then I pressed her again and she lied 3 times. Then I said, Karen, I'm not telling you some person told me. I'm telling you the Lord God whom I serve told me in front of a witness and proved it right here in front of Corey. And now I'm making that call and you're saying no. So I ask you now before the Lord God, Karen Sullivan, yes or no, are you speaking contemptuously? Then what did she say?
She finally owned it.
Did she
said,
laugh?
Yeah, she giggled and said, yeah, we've already started doing that.
Yeah, that's exactly what she did. She started laughing and, we started doing that. And I was just in shock. I was like, why would you do that, Karen? That's just, well, I don't know, just feeling ornery, whatever. And so did Karen subsequently make 2 videos apologizing and put them on YouTube trying to make things better? Yes or no?
Yes.
What happened every time I posted those videos?
She had them removed.
Yeah, she had them removed.
No matter what platform they were on, somehow they got taken down. The channel would be removed. They would be removed from whatever YouTube channel they were on, even though I own that stuff. She made them and sent them to me. She gave them to me as an apology. But yet she would still go around and try and have them removed. Is that true?
Yep.
Yes.
Do I still have those videos?
Yes.
Dave, do we have those videos?
Yes.
Is everything I've said today true? Yes or no?
Yes.
Okay. Do we have those videos posted on Click Uncensored?
Yep.
I encourage everybody to go to Click Uncensored and watch those. If I'm such a liar and all this stuff and I'm this false prophet, why would Karen be making videos saying that it's true that she was doing that? Why would she be taking them down? Well, here's the reason. Because when I confronted her and I said, why are y'all doing this? And the Lord told me, don't believe her videos. They're complete phony frauds. Don't believe it. And I said, okay, I won't. And at that point, she turned against all the people that were living in Beat City and the Ark. Is that true?
Yep.
So she her and her husband took in tremendous financial gain. They took in tremendous work from all the people that were there. They took in tremendous work from me, myself. They used my goodwill and all the people associated with my goodwill to enrich themselves. And then they told everyone to get the F out. Yes or no?
Yep.
Is there anything I said that is not true?
No.
It's all
It's all
true.
true.
All right. So now we've established the record. And then I will keep the other stuff, Chuck, and the threats. Those are all part of the folders. Those are all written in his own writing on text messages. And we have them in emails. And we have them taken from all the Gene Rebel videos. Now let me go show you guys Gene Rebel's channel real quick. So everything on Gene's channel, here is Gene chopping off my face, deception. Every single thing on his channel is making fun of me. All of it. He's got a very unhealthy obsession. And he probably needs to, like, get rid of the hatred or it's going to destroy him. It's already destroyed him. All right, now, Gene, you were upset that I didn't do a video about you. It's done. That's the only one that's ever going to get done. And now I've established a record for Chuck Edge, Kathy Edge, Jim Sullivan, and Karen Sullivan. And Jim was selling weed with an FFL while he had the FFL, and he was passing out guns to people with an FFL. Is that correct?
Yep.
All right. Thank you very much. All right, love you guys. Sorry for taking up so much of your day, but I need to establish the record. All right, guys.
We love you too.
All right, I'll catch up to y'all later. Bye-bye. All right, so now I'm just going to wrap this up with a quick look at the camera thing. Here we go. Okay, so now I'm just going to kind of dial it down a little bit. This has all gotten so insane. It's so stupid. It's so weird. So I go in and I help these people to the best of my ability, put heart and soul into it, and then they convolute everything like we're some cult, death cult or something, which is what they were doing, passing out all the weapons. If there's people that say, yeah, if the earth cracks open and locusts show up and they're stinging people, I don't think I'd want to be drug away. It's like, hello. No, the whole thing has been convoluted to a point that's dangerous. Because these people are willing to lie, cheat, and steal to cover their own tracks. My agreement with Chuck Edge was, Chuck, I will get everybody out. I'll relocate everybody. I'm not going to go after Edith's base. The reason he didn't want me to go after Edith is she's the one with all the big money. She's the millionaire. Jim and Karen had already blown through a $3 million inheritance. And now they had the Ark and they had access to the pocketbooks of the people that had been following my ministry for years. And now they had their fingers in their pockets and they were enriching themselves. And then as soon as Karen was called out, she told everybody to get the fuck out. Too bad. And they were worried that I was going to go sue the pants off everybody. I told Chuck, don't worry about it. I'm not going to do it. I'm going to get everybody out of there. I'm going to show you on my own cell phone. I told him, don't worry about it. That's not my goal. That's not what I'm here to do. I'm here to just try and get everybody out, get everybody relocated. And they had promised me, we'll give you $50,000 once we sell the property. Is that true, Corey?
Yep.
Did we get a call from a realtor from Wallaceville or wherever it was that they lived?
Yep.
Yeah, did he tell me that they were willing to give me $50,000?
Yeah, and Jim actually put it in a text message.
That's right. Do we have that? We have that in a file, don't we, Dave?
Yeah.
We have that in a file from Jim Sullivan. I'll give you $50,000 when I sell the property. Because they were terrified I was going to come after them. Because they were so liable, and Edith was liable too. Because people were living at her house. Now, here's the point. I don't appreciate being threatened, Chuck. I don't appreciate you saying you're going to sick law enforcement on me for doing nothing. I don't appreciate Karen and Kathy lying like it's their language and making false accusations about the people I live with in some inner circle. It's so insane. So you guys apparently need a readjustment, but I don't think that's going to happen because I know that the end of all things is at the door. There's a text message from Chuck Edge on August 5th. On August 5th, let's see, try and get this in view here. We have all this in folders. Let's see if I can, oh wait. There we go. So let's see. Man, this has gone south. If you have a beef with Karen and Jim, you bring your best game and we'll see what happens. If you got a beef against Kathy and I and our ranch, just bring, here, I'll just read and then I'll put it up there. It's in the folders. And just, in our ranch, just bring whatever it is that you think you have. But everything from your minions, so he called all the handicapped people, Eric and Susie are both handicapped. Dave's handicapped. Alyssa and her husband and their kids, they are financially handicapped. And, I mean, everybody there was handicapped or severely poor, I guess, very poor. And they had no means whatsoever. And Chuck is calling them minions, my minions. If you have a beef against Kathy and I on our ranch, just bring whatever it is you think you have. But everything from your minions is saying is you're going after Edith as well. Now he's worried about Edith because Edith is the mom with the big money, the millions. They're worried that I'm going to go file some kind of a lien against the properties. That would be a mistake. Now here's a message from a former law enforcement official to the person that has been worked over financially. I put a heart and soul into it for these guys' well-being. Karen and her husband, Jim, have just squandered and used everybody to enrich themselves, make their property better, and then thrown everybody out once they got confronted for talking, just maligning me behind my back. Not just me, maligning everybody. Because that's their nature. Now listen to this. If you have a beef with Kathy and I in our ranch, just bring whatever it is you think you have. But everything from your minions, you mean all the handicapped people that have nowhere to go, is saying you're going after Edith as well. That would be a mistake. Pull your head out of your fourth point of contact in a perfectly executed PLF, which means parachute landing fall. I guess he's trying to let me know that he's done a couple rookie jumps. And tell your minions to do the same. So he's telling me to pull my head out of my ass. I'm a preacher that laid hands on his sister-in-law that would have been dead. I have a track record of laying hands on people that are terminal or incurable. Here's what I wrote back to Chuck. The minions you're referring to are all people that Jim and Karen invited to be there. As I told you, I want everybody out ASAP. The last thing I want is confrontation. You heard that last week. If everybody would simply communicate and show some goodwill, this would be very simple. It would be a simple phone call where I say everybody will be out this day because that's when they can move in and that's when we can get trucks and people to help move handicapped people. Imagine Jim and Karen taking in over $100,000. They took in people's inheritances that were left to them. They took in money from me in a ministry where people trust me. They took in money from so many people it is nauseating. If you wish to defend that, you may. But when you defend evil, you are evil. I have no beef with Edith, and I have no beef with Jim and Karen, and I have no beef with you. As a matter of fact, I was praying for y'all just a little while ago. Just leave everybody alone and let everybody move out, and then everybody can live out whatever's left of their lives, of the life they have left. Capiche? Okay. During that phone call, Zach is here. I had a phone call with him. During that phone call, was Chuck Edge trying to antagonize me into a fight?
Yes.
Did he try and set traps saying, well, Johnny, when did you participate in growing weed with Jim?
Right.
Did he actually said that nonsense?
Yeah.
Did I tell him, dude, shut up?
Right.
And that's just absurd.
Right.
He tried to tie me to Jim. Did you ever do that with Jim?
Correct.
I was like, dude, shut up. Then I said, look, Chuck, I'm trying to move all these people out. And you know, Jim and Karen took in all this money. And then he said, well, so you're saying if you had $50,000, you could do it. And I said, well, it'd make it a lot easier. And he goes, that's extortion. Is that
Right.
what he did?
Yep.
Did I start laughing? I was like, dude, shut the hell up. That's it. They offered me $50,000 when they sold the property.
That's correct.
I said, dude, extortion. I'm the one that gave them all the freaking money. I'm the one stopping everybody from suing you. And I'm the one paying for everyone to be relocated. And you're trying to set some extortion trap?
Right.
Is that true?
Yes.
Many times during the phone call did he try and elevate it into a yelling argument type thing.
Yes.
What did I do?
You stopped the conversation and said, hold on, let's take a second. Let me give you a hug over the phone. Just chill out and try to continue in a very passive way.
I said, no, we're not going to yell. I'm not going to do that with you. You know what? Stop. I'm just going to give you a hug over the phone. How many times did I say stop, give you a hug over the phone?
3 to 4 times, I would guess.
No,
Yeah.
I'd say stop. I'm just going to give you a hug over the phone.
Right.
No one's going to yell. We're all going to be nice.
Correct.
I'm going to get these people out of there. Y'all are going to get your property back, even though Jim and Karen screwed everybody over. And I'm going to let it all go. Does that sound about right?
Yes.
Did I tell him I gave him my word I would not sue Edith Pace?
Yes.
Did he give me his word his wife, Kathy, would shut her huge mouth and quit going on publicly maligning me and committing libel and slander?
Yes, that was the agreement.
That was the agreement.
Correct.
Has Kathy continued to do her maligning and Karen and all that?
Yes.
It's been nothing but that.
Nothing but it.
Okay, let the record speak for itself. That's it. Okay, I love you guys in Christ. Now, Chuck and Karen and Kathy and Jim, I love you guys in Christ. What's weird is, this could have all been over a year ago, but you guys aligned yourselves with a lunatic named, whatever his real name is. He's got a channel named Gene Rebel. He's got a channel named Jonathan Cluck. It might be time we find out what his real name is and get some paperwork going that direction, maybe. Cease and desist. Everybody leave everybody alone, please. Y'all go do your thing. Well, I love you in Christ. I've been praying that something good could happen for you. But nothing good's going to happen for anyone when you guys persist and you write comments like that on a channel with somebody who's completely deranged and y'all are his cheerleaders. That's warped. Chuck, I don't think you'll ever get reelected again, especially if I give this video to the people that's going to be the guy you're up against. So, leave Johnny alone. Leave everybody alone. Quit supporting a lunatic. And if you're going to send, your federal agents over to the house, then I have a record now, and this is going to a lot of people, and it's going for safe storage just so I can prove it. Love you in Christ.